Peter Griffin has been called the dumbest man in Quahog, and that's probably an insult to dumb men. But here's the thing nobody wants to say out loud. The fat guy in the green pants and white shirt. The one who fights a chicken and falls down holding his knee going sss. That guy has a higher body count than most horror movie villains. We're not talking about cartoon slapstick where everyone bounces back next week. We're talking about people who walked into a scene with Peter Griffin and never walked out. And the scary part is he almost never means to do it. So today we're counting every death Peter has caused across the entire run of Family Guy. The accidents, the selfish decisions, the ones he laughed off 30 seconds later. By the end of this, you're going to look at that goofy laugh completely differently. Because there are 3 kinds of Peter kills, and once you learn to spot them, you can't unsee them. There's the wrong place, wrong time kill, where Peter's stupidity turns a normal afternoon into a funeral. There's the he absolutely chose this kill, where he had a clear option to not end a life and went the other way. And then there's the worst category. The one we'll save for the end, the kills where Peter walks away genuinely happier because the person is gone. Let's start where every Peter disaster starts, with a car. Peter Griffin behind the wheel is basically a loaded weapon, with a driver's license he definitely should not have. Over the years, he's plowed through pedestrians, crashed into storefronts, and driven through crowds like they were traffic cones. The show plays it for laughs every time. The bodies fly, the sound effect hits, and Peter says something like, "I should probably get that checked." But stack those moments up, and you've got a man who has turned the streets of Quahog into a demolition derby, where the other cars are people. The most famous one? The time Peter is so distracted, so completely checked out, that he doesn't even notice he's hit someone until they're rolling over the hood. He doesn't stop, he doesn't call anyone, he keeps driving and keeps talking. That's not an accident anymore. That's the moment you realize Peter's brain genuinely does not register other human beings as real until they affect him directly. And that's the thread running through this entire list. Watch for it. Now here's where it gets darker, because the car stuff is at least believable as accidents. The next category isn't. Let's talk about the people Peter has killed through pure weaponized selfishness. The clearest example is the running theme of Peter wanting something. A snack, a TV channel, a parking spot, and a human being standing between him and that thing. Peter does not negotiate. Peter removes the obstacle. There are moments in this show where Peter's path to a hot dog has cost someone their entire existence, and the camera lingers just long enough for you to understand that yes, that person is gone, and no, Peter does not care. You feel it in your gut, that specific cringe, when a character you've grown to like wanders into a Peter plotline. It's the same feeling as watching someone walk into a haunted house in a horror movie. You want to yell at the screen, "Don't get in the car, don't accept his help, don't let him cook," because Peter helping you is more dangerous than almost anyone else hurting you. Here's a signpost for where we're headed, because this is where it stops being funny and starts being kind of incredible. Peter doesn't just kill strangers, he's caused deaths inside his own circle, people who trusted him, people who considered him a friend. That betrayal of trust is the second act of this body count, and it's the part most fans completely forget about. Think about the friends Peter has lost over the years, specifically because of his own behavior. The drinking buddies dragged into schemes that turned fatal. The neighbors roped into plans that ended in a hospital bed or worse. Peter treats his friends like extra lives in a video game, something to be spent on his way to the next dumb goal. And the show is sneaky about it. It'll kill someone off in a Peter episode, get a laugh, and then quietly never mention them again. You're supposed to forget. We're not going to. One of the most telling patterns is what happens when Peter gets a new obsession, a new job, a new hobby, a new feud. Whenever Peter fixates on something, the people around him become collateral. He'll start a business and someone dies in the field. He'll declare war on a neighbor and the body count climbs while Peter treats it like a game of capture the flag. And this brings us to the giant chicken. We have to talk about the chicken. Peter's endless brawls with Ernie the giant chicken are legendary. They tear through buildings, planes, entire city blocks. It's some of the best animation the show has ever done. But have you ever stopped to count the people caught in the crossfire? Those fights aren't happening in an empty void. They're happening in airports, on highways, through office buildings full of people just trying to get through their workday. Every time Peter and that chicken go at it, the camera focuses on the two of them, and the implication is a trail of destruction and casualties stretching for miles. Peter walks away from those fights every single time. A lot of bystanders don't. Think about what one of those brawls would actually feel like if you were standing in it. You're in line at the airport, coffee in hand, half asleep, and suddenly a 300-pound man and a man-sized chicken come crashing through the glass at full speed, swinging fists hard enough to dent steel. There's no escaping that. There's no excuse me or watch out. There's just Peter, the chicken, and whatever happens to be in their path, which on any given day is dozens of people who simply picked the wrong morning to travel. And when the dust settles, Peter dusts himself off, makes a joke, and goes home for dinner like nothing happened. Let me slow down and walk you through the kills that actually define Peter, because a number means nothing without the moments behind it. These are the ones that, once you really look at them, stop being background gags and start feeling like a pattern. Start with the deaths tied to Peter's jobs. Peter has been hired and fired more times than anyone in television history, and almost every workplace he touches turns into a crime scene. He's worked at the toy factory, the brewery, the fishing boat, and in nearly every one of those settings the show casually drops a coworker into a machine, off a boat, or into a situation Peter created and then immediately forgot. The brewery alone, the place that's supposed to be Peter's happy ending, his dream job, has seen accidents that would shut down a real company forever. Peter treats workplace safety the way a toddler treats a hot stove. He has to touch it, and someone else gets burned. Then there are the dare deaths. Peter cannot resist a dare, a bet, or a you wouldn't. Hand Peter a challenge and he will risk not just his own life but the lives of everyone standing near him. He's launched himself and others off rooftops into traffic and into stunts that no human body could survive, and the show lets the bodies pile up because Peter winning the bet is the only thing that matters to the scene. Picture the specific feeling of being Peter's friend in that moment. He turns to you with that grin, that watch this energy, and you know that whatever happens next is going to hurt someone, and there's a real chance it won't be him. And we can't skip the food kills. This is maybe the most Peter category of all. Peter has caused deaths in the pursuit of eating. Stampedes at buffets, fights over the last slice, schemes to get free food that end with someone face down. There is a version of this man who would genuinely step over a dying friend to reach a plate of chicken wings, and the show has shown us that version more than once. When Peter is hungry, the empathy switch doesn't just turn off. It was never wired in to begin with. Now if I had to rank Peter's most damning kills, the ones that prove this isn't slapstick, the top of the list is always the same. It's the deaths where Peter had time. Time to think, time to stop, time to choose differently, and he chose the body count anyway. A true accident is a flash, no decision involved. But Peter has stood in moments that stretched out, where any person with a working conscience would have paused, and Peter used that pause to do the thing that ended someone. Those aren't accidents. Those are confessions. So why does Peter keep getting away with it? That's the question that's probably forming in your head right now, and it's the right question. How is this man not in prison? How is he not the most wanted criminal in Rhode Island? The answer is the most uncomfortable part of the whole thing. Peter gets away with it because the show is built around him being the center of the universe. Consequences bend around Peter the way light bends around a black hole. Cops forget. Witnesses vanish. Lawsuits evaporate. The town of Quahog has a kind of collective amnesia specifically designed to keep Peter free, fed, and on the couch by the end of every episode. The universe protects Peter, which means it absolutely does not protect the people near him. Now let's get into the category I promised at the top, the worst one. The kills where Peter ends up better off. There are deaths in this show that Peter directly benefits from, and his reaction tells you everything. When a rival is gone, Peter celebrates. When someone who annoyed him disappears, Peter throws a party. There's a coldness underneath the goofiness that the show flashes at you in quick moments. Peter at a funeral, barely hiding a smile. Peter inheriting something he wanted from someone who conveniently died. Peter solving a problem by simply outliving the problem. This is the plant we set up at the beginning, and here's the payoff. The reason Peter's body count is so high isn't that he's evil in the cackling, scheming way. It's that he has the empathy of a houseplant combined with the impulse control of a toddler and the physical durability of a cartoon character who cannot be stopped. He's not a villain, he's a force of nature wearing a man costume. And forces of nature don't feel bad about the damage they cause. They just move on to the next thing. That's what makes the kill count so disturbing when you actually add it up. A villain knows what they're doing. Peter genuinely doesn't, and that's worse, because you can't reason with him, you can't appeal to his conscience, and you definitely can't predict him. The only safe move around Peter Griffin is to not be around Peter Griffin. Let's put some structure on the full count, because by now you're wondering what the real number is. If you separate the deaths into our 3 buckets, the accidents alone, the driving, the explosions, the schemes gone wrong, easily climb into the dozens across the series. Add the selfish kills, the obstacles removed and friends spent, and you're well past that. And then factor in the mass casualty events, the chicken fights, the disasters Peter triggers that take out crowds, and the honest answer is that Peter's true body count is uncountable. It's not a number, it's a weather event. And the genius of Family Guy is that it hides this in plain sight. Every one of these deaths is a joke. You laughed at most of them. I laughed at most of them. The show uses comedy as a magic trick, getting you to look at the punchline so you don't look at the corpse. That's the real reason you never noticed Peter's kill count. Not because it's hidden, but because it's disguised as something funny. So here's the bigger thing this teaches you about Family Guy, and honestly about a lot of comedy. The funniest characters are often the most dangerous ones, because comedy gives them permission to do things no serious character could ever get away with. Peter can kill an entire room, and the show smooths it over with a cutaway gag before your brain can object. The laugh is the eraser. And once you understand that, you start watching every Peter scene with one eye on the joke and one eye on the body count. Next time you watch an episode, try it. Count the people who don't make it out of a Peter plot. Watch how fast the show moves you past them. Watch how Peter never once looks back. So what do you think the real number is? Drop your count in the comments and tell me which Peter death caught you off guard the most, because I guarantee some of you are realizing right now that your favorite harmless goofball has a rap sheet longer than every actual villain in the show combined. If this changed how you see Peter, hit that like button and share it with the one friend who swears Family Guy is just a silly cartoon. And stick around, because if you think Peter's body count is bad, wait until you see who's actually responsible for the most deaths in the entire Griffin household. It's not who you think, and we're counting that one next.